Joe was saying last night that he thinks the center competition is quote unquote scratch even. What have you seen from your perspective, and then what do you think needs to happen for one of those guys to kind of pull away with the job?
Well, I think both guys have been doing a tremendous job there at center. Okay, Spencer's really smart. He's tough. He's played the position for a while. Nick's also smart, tough, right? Just learning the position. They both are very physical football players, and they're battling for that starting job right now. And I can't be more happy with the competition that's going on. Love what I've seen from both of those guys. They both bring a lot of strong traits to the table, and they compete. And that's what we're looking to do ultimately around here is just keep competing.
And one other thing, noticed in the last couple of practices, you guys maybe even doing it all along. Noticed a lot of work on stunts. You're gonna have new guys playing next to each other. Don't have continuity from the past. What's the key to getting on the same page with those?
Yeah, just seeing multiple looks out there is really important. Our defense does a great job with stunts. So kind of learning how to set properly, learning how to train your eyes, learning how to get proper depth. See what you see. And they've done a nice job with it. So it's really our job as coaches to keep giving them those looks. The harder we can make it on them right now, the easier it's going to be, come when we start these games here in a little bit. So, really our job right now is to keep showing them really difficult looks. And our defense does a great job of giving it. And we also give each other looks, when we're down there in individual period. And again, you're really getting those guys out there, those young guys and making sure these looks are perfect. All right. So we can execute with speed and fast and really just train these guys to play next to each other, communicate. And that's what it's all about as an offensive line.
I've talked to line coaches, and they've always said, or a lot of them say, I'm going to play my best 5 linemen. Doesn't make a difference if I have 3 guards, a tackle, and a center. I mean, the best 5 are going to play. Do you have that theory, or do you want 2 tackles, a guard, and a center?
No, I think, that's really a strong theory. Play your best players. You look for guys that can play multiple positions. You're always looking for that. The center-only types don't really exist anymore. All these guys can play multiple positions, and you're really trying to, develop that continuity. So you got to be careful. There's a fine line there between playing your best 5 and create continuity. But we've done a nice job here. Coach Judge does a really nice job making sure, we're getting certain reps and getting guys in different positions at times, but also at times making sure, we have a couple lines in there and they're just competing, learning how to play next to each other. So, I think the best starting 5, that's great. But right now we're trying to find, the guys that are going to get in there, really compete, really grind, and so there's that balance between continuity and, getting that best 5 in there. So we're just trying to find that balance right now. And, these guys are doing a really nice job competing. Now it's about kind of creating that continuity.
Thank you.
Tom Rock.
Mark, what have you seen from Cam Fleming? That's a guy you're pretty familiar with.
Yeah, Cam's an incredible worker. You can watch him out there. He's the first guy out there to practice. He's always working on his pass sets, honing his craft. He's extremely smart. He's gritty. He's tough. He's played in a lot of big games. Like what I've seen from him so far, obviously we just got to keep pushing to get better up front. We're always looking for little things to work on. And Cam's that guy. He's constantly wearing me out. How can I get better? And that's really what you want to look for in offensive linemen. And, I got a lot of confidence. We have a lot of confidence in Cam Fleming. He's going to give us everything he has. And that's just the type of player he is.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about was we saw a lot of batted down passes in the scrimmage. We saw BJ come up with an interception that way yesterday.
Yep.
Is that an offensive line flaw, or is that a quarterback flaw? Is that somewhere in between?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's the whole unit. Just talking from an offensive line perspective, let's get back a little bit. Okay, our defense does a great job of getting their hands up in the throwing lane. All right, they're coached really well. They're big. They're physical. They can push the pocket. It's a really great challenge for this offensive line. I feel like we have to anchor sooner. And really, rule of thumb is they try to jump up for a ball. You got to stick your hands in your chest and you got to dump it. Right, you put that on film a couple times, it'll keep them from kind of jumping up there. But again, our defense done a nice job with that. It's really about anchoring, being a little bit more firm in the middle. That'll help that, so they can't push the pocket and actually get their hands up there in that lane.
Going back to draft time, I recall Dave Gettleman saying about Matt Peart that in addition to the praise that they talked about him as a player, said the coaches really wanted to work with this kid. Now, presumably you were one of those coaches. I'm just curious what you've seen from Matt what you saw from him that you wanted to work with and where he is right now.
Yeah, he's a smart kid. He's big. He's long. I mean, tremendous length. He's a good athlete. He's got a lot of those qualities you look for in a tackle, starting with length. Matt's done a nice job so far. All right, we're going to keep pushing him to really grind it out, get better at every little detail. That's really with these young guys. It's all about the details. Like what we've seen so far, him coming out, he just did a lot of nice things. All right, in college, you kind of can see, where he's heading there. He's doing a nice job again right now. So there's just a lot to work with as an offensive line coach. You kind of look at him and you say to yourself, that looks like a football player. That looks like a football player. And again, he's done a tremendous job. We're going to keep pushing him to get better. Get him on the right side, get him on the left. Again, multiple positions with these guys. Got to be able to play both tackles. So that's a big deal, and he's done a nice job with that so far. And we just got to keep pushing him.
Hey, Mark, a quick two-parter. You said you wanted your offensive line to be nasty. Have they shown you they're nasty enough? And then Andrew Thomas, frankly, in 11 on 11, I don't feel like I've seen him get beaten very often. Do you think he's doing extremely well early on for a rookie?
Yeah, the first part of that, we can always play more physical. The first part of that is making sure we get into these fits right in the run game, physical in the pass game with our hands. We're still working those details out right now, so we can really get out there. And once we learn how to do it right, that's when you can impose your will on the defense. Yeah, we've done a good job, at least with the physical nature of it. We need to clean up the technique part of it. In terms of Andrew's done a lot of nice things so far, right? But we have a long way to go. We have timing of our punch, some of his sets, consistency in what he does. He competes, right? When he gets beat, you don't have to tell him twice. He's one of those guys. If you give him a coaching point, they'll take the coaching point, and we can move on really to the next thing. So that's what you're looking for in these young guys, not making multiple mistakes, doing the same thing wrong over and over. And that's what's been really, really fun to watch about Andrew. You can tell him one thing, all right, and next time he goes out there, he does it the way you're looking for, and that's how you can get better, really, really as a group, as a tackle. And he's done a nice job so far. Again, we've got a long way to go with these guys. Consistency is really the key right now, for these young guys coming out of college.
We can see what Nick Gates can do when he snaps the ball. But what about after he snaps the ball? How are you going to know about his decision making and his ability to where to slide, who to help, things like that, the stuff that he has never done before and the stuff that you will not be able to see in a preseason game?
Yeah, it's our job as coaches to give him those looks. Again, our defense does a really good job changing up the looks, giving him all these different things to think about and handle. And Nick's done a really good job with that. We got to keep pushing him, keep showing him, everything. So it's not the first time he sees it. We're out there playing a real game now. In these settings, these live pads, stuff like that. All right, it's really where some of his really good qualities, his traits show up. And we just, again, it's not seeing it for the first time. That's really the biggest deal with Nick right now. And when he sees it, just like the question with Andrew, he's able to correct himself right away. All right. So that's a big quality to have in a center, to be able to correct yourself right away so we can move on and show him something else. So we're not stuck on the same exact coaching point over and over and over again that you see with some of these young guys. So, he's a guy that, love what we've seen from him so far. Again, Spencer Pulley's done a great job too. These guys are battling it out. All right. They both have tremendous qualities up there, up front, and just excited, in the future for Nick Gates. He's done a really good job so far, and we'll keep showing him those looks, keep pressing him to get better. The more difficult it is now, the easier it'll be in the games.